did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3. The fog in her brain began to clear. Her breathing returned to normal. That's when she saw it. Down on the beach, something was moving. The wind was whipping the waves into a frenzy, sending clouds of white foam rolling across the flat, wet sand like tumbleweeds, and amongst the debris dumped by the retreating tide, Freya saw something shift again. A black shape, like a shadow. Sea, sand and rock swept past her eyes, making her feel seasick as she swung the binoculars left and right before she landed on her target. A dog. A German shepherd, its black and brown fur rippling in the breeze. It was a beautiful dog, and it was still now, looking towards the shore, its jaw opening and closing like it was having a good old blether with someone. The faint sound of its bark reached Freya a few seconds later. She followed the dog's line of sight to the rocks at the water's edge on the far side of the bay, where a man was standing with his back to the sea. Even from this distance, and with his own set of binoculars obscuring his face, Freya could tell he was an older man. He was carrying a walking stick, and his shaggy white hair was being blown this way and that. He lowered his binoculars, and Freya adjusted the focus again on hers. He was watching the forensic team setting up arc lamps in the gloomy field beyond Skara, like she had done. He stood there for another couple of minutes, completely still, taking it all in. Then he whistled for his dog, turned back towards the headland, and hurried away. Chapter 2. The wind was bringing the sea with it, across the dunes to the single-track road. Freya's windscreen wipers wailed like a tired toddler, the sound of them making her teeth hurt as she drove the short distance to Skara. The gates were open, but a strip of blue and white police tape was pulled across the entrance to the car park. A middle-aged woman in a thin-looking purple coat stood on the near side of it. 2 uniformed police officers, an older man and a younger woman, were stationed on the other. Freya tried not to make eye contact with them as she drove past, but she heard their raised voices even over the snap of the gravel beneath her tyres and the howl of the heater that was trying to drag the temperature in a raging Hyundai Getz above freezing. She drove on a little further along the track, past the small crossroads and an unmarked white Audi Q3 that was parked only slightly on the grass verge, almost cutting off the road entirely. She pulled over and killed the engine. Her wipers came to a halt halfway across the windscreen, so she turned the key in the ignition again, the rubber blades juddering violently as they were dragged across the barely damp glass to their proper resting place. She sat in silence, feeling the gentle rocking of the car in the wind, watching the 3 figures at the tape in her wing mirror. She guessed the woman in the purple coat was the person she was here to meet. Kristen had said her name was Jill. She can be a bit, Kristen had told her during the unexpected phone call this morning, leaving the rest of her sentence hanging somewhere along the connection between them. Just don't take her personally, okay? We're not all like her, I promise. That hadn't helped. Freya closed her eyes, felt her hand float towards her right ear again. She had 5 small silver studs there, 2 in the lobe and 3 in the shell, and she pinched them hard so her fingertips burned. Usually this helped untangle the wires in her brain, calm her nerves, but not this morning. There was too much at stake. She needed to get this right, but the change of plan was making her anxious to the point of being almost angry. This wasn't how today was supposed to play out. It wasn't what she had prepared herself for. She couldn't just... Her eyes snapped open. A sound like a swarm of angry bees had invaded her swirling thoughts, cutting her out of her spiral.